Brazil is delaying a planned tax hike on certain beverages. The tax is on beer and soda and was supposed to start June 1st. But drink makers like Ambev and Coca-Cola have protested, saying that the tax may hurt sales just weeks before the start of the World Cup. The government said they will still push through with the tax, though, but in September. Labor problems in Brazil continue. Striking drivers park their buses in the middle of São Paulo's main streets, paralyzing pockets of Brazil's largest city. Drivers are demanding better pay and working conditions. Last week, protesters, the drivers, also brought traffic to a grinding halt in that city. For more on all that's happening in Brazil right now, I'm joined by Paulo Sotero, director of the Brazil Institute at the Woodrow Wilson Center for Scholars. Paulo, it's good to see you there. Welcome to the show. Let me start. A lot of people are talking about this World Cup and whether or not Brazil's ready. They are ready, they're not ready. You're there. Give us a full update. Is Brazil ready?
Well, it's not ready today. It will be ready on June 12 when the tournament starts. Newspaper here in São Paulo this morning says that only 41% of all the works that were promised are finished and complete. Some of other works will be finished and complete, precisely those involving the stadiums, those involving transportation to the stadiums. In most cities, the day of games, and especially the days when Brazil plays, it will be a holiday, so this will help solve some of the problems, but there is a general mood of frustration. One would expect, Brazil hosting this tournament and being the country of soccer, that the mood would be a little bit more upbeat about the World Cup, but it's not. People are apprehensive, and maybe this will change as we come closer to the tournament, but right now there is a sense of apprehension, and that most Brazilians now think it was not a very good idea to host these games this year here.
All right. I mean, that's somewhat distracting because you got the big Olympics coming up as well. You've got these corruption charges. You got people protesting in the street. You've got Brazilians not happy that they're hosting. I should say not all. Some people are unhappy that they're hosting the World Cup. Some people are saying not enough is being done to help poverty. You have all these issues. How does what's happening right now for the World Cup, or ahead of it, affect the Olympic planning?
Well, it will obviously be a reminder that you better speed up the process in Rio de Janeiro, where things that should be underway, buildings, etc., are not yet. So it's another test for the country. This is yet another opportunity for the authorities in Brasilia, in Rio, and in other capitals to put up their, to get their act together and move in a speedy way. After all, Brazil volunteered to do this. Brazil was not, this was not imposed on Brazil. Brazil was asked to organize or prepare 8 stadiums, but Brazil decided to do it in 12 cities instead of 8, because obviously it's more of a business opportunity for construction, etc. There are obviously political elements into this.
Paulo, I only have a few. I'm sorry to interrupt. I only have a few minutes. I want to get to something that was in the Washington Post, in fact, in a number of newspapers, about what the police apparently have been advising visitors to the World Cup. The advice has to deal with people crime, dealing with mugging and avoiding being kidnapped. And some of the advice is, if you're being mugged, don't scream. Now, I know there's a tongue-in-cheek here, but this is a very serious issue. I mean, this is a serious warning to tourists if this is all true. What kind of message is that sending to people that are looking to come to Brazil?
Well, it's not a very positive message, but being here and coming here very, very often, those things get a little bit over-dramatized near tournaments like this. I think that the police will be out in force, providing security, safety for tourists and for Brazilians attending the games. That apprehension is not more than it was in daily life in Brazil. Some major cities here, yes, they face crime, insecurity problems. The main frustration is that, there was a potential positive narrative that Brazil could use around those games. That narrative is lost because everything was delayed. We are not doing things on time, but on June 12, the games will open and everything will go as far as the games will probably go according to plan.
Paulo, very quickly, part of the plan was that this is supposed to ultimately help the Brazilian economy. It's supposed to help Rio de Janeiro. It's supposed to help the entire country. Does it change the way you look at the economy now because of what's happening here? I mean, how should we look at this and the impact of the economy?
The economy has been going sideways in Brazil for a while, although the economy is still growing at 2.5% a year. The impact is probably going to be a little bit less, but all the publicity has been paid for, and there will be lots of businesses, obviously, part of keeping this thing to doing things at the last moment will increase prices. Providers of service will make some money. Overall, it was never expected that the World Cup would have a huge impact on the global on the economy of Brazil, which is a $2.7 trillion economy. But it will probably has a less positive effect than it was initially expected. Right.